Hi guys, I'm Alex Holmstrom, and this is the Alex at Bat podcast. When it comes to anything to do with current, athletic, throwback, current, or throwback sports news, we will always be at bat. And we have Jason Holmstrom who will lead us off.
All right, so I think that the first thing we'll dive into tonight is the MLB, specifically our hometown Phillies, Philadelphia Phillies. We did the 5K run 2 weekends ago, and actually got to go on the field. Remember that? Were there any thoughts about post 5K trek around Citizens Bank field?
I kind of forget.
Never mind. All right, it was beautiful. It was awesome.
Oh, like any thoughts on the field?
Yeah, that's all I wanted.
Oh well, I'm sorry there. So my thoughts are on the field is like it's a total different experience when you're actually on the field compared to when you're just watching it in your stands, maybe eating your popcorn, eating, I don't know, like whatever this popcorn is called at the baseball stadium. Yeah, with all those type of foods. But no, like it's a different experience with going on the field, going in the basement area of the stadium, like where they come out of their locker room.
Yeah, it got me kind of hyped up for the season. That was prior to the start of the season. This past weekend, the Phillies opened up their season in Texas at Arlington Stadium with a resounding butt whooping. They got swept in 3 games. I think overall, the Rangers scored 29 runs on the Phils. 27 of those came in the first 2 games. The pitching just got pummeled. They pulled out a respectable loss yesterday, 2-1 loss in Arlington. But that said, well, rockiest start since 2016. But that said, Charlie Manuel, old skipper for the championship Phillies, said he's not worried at all. He sees a lot of potential in the pitching, and they'll come around. They got a lot of young talent. Bryce Harper is out, but he's going to be coming back in June. Rhys Hoskins, obviously a different story, but the potential's there, and he sees them as being contenders all the way through the season.
Yeah, so like when I was watching the game, I never really of course no one really ever likes to watch all 9 innings, but somehow, I was able to do that yesterday.
I'm pretty sure people like watching all 9 innings. You don't like watching all 9 innings, but what did you think of the couple innings that you did watch?
I definitely think was batting. Oh my God, like nobody could bat the ball yesterday. No, especially that I think his last name was like Harrison or something, number 2, for the Phillies. He, on the other hand, could not bat at all. And then he dropped a potential out, where he could have gotten one of the players out, but then dropped that. And I'm like, oh my Lord, what is going on? Nobody can bat. And it's just it was just driving me crazy. But, maybe they'll get that all fixed. And then Bryce Harper, when he comes back in June, that will definitely help them out a lot.
On the Bryce Harper note, one thing I did like was that in the process of getting their butt whooped, actually not getting their butt whooped. Yesterday it was 2-1 loss. In the process of losing 2-1 yesterday, the announcers were interviewing Bryce Harper, who was there for the game. I mean, he's obviously injured, going through his rehab reps and stuff like that. But he was there and asked, why he was choosing to be there when he could be doing other things like, rehabbing or staying closer to home. He said he wanted to be near the guys. He needed to be part of the team in some form or fashion to really get a feel. He wants, like a good leader does, wants to get a feel of the locker room. And that to me spoke volumes about him as a player, spoke volumes about where the Phillies could potentially go, because that's the kind of investment that everybody's making from the bottom to the top of that organization. So real excited about the Phillies. Another team we're excited about, Sixers. Not so exciting last night in their game against the Bucks. Did you catch any of that?
Yes, I did. Sheesh, Bucks did their job against the Philadelphia 76ers yesterday. Of course, the big matchup of the game was Giannis versus Joel Embiid. So like that was definitely the highlight of the game right there, was them matching up against each other. But the Bucks did put a lot of pressure on our team by like scoring a lot of points on them, and it was just a rough night for the Philadelphia 76ers yesterday. They need to get this fixed around if they want to go far in the playoffs, especially the defense. They need to fix some things up. But there's really, I don't think, a lot of things to be concerned about the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, once they clean their little errors up, I think that they can go far in the playoffs. Who knows?
I hope so. I like how you skirted around pronouncing Giannis's last name by calling him Giannis A, by the way. Yeah, so like I guess that was true revenge. Last time the Sixers met the Bucks, they were on the Bucks were on a 16-game winning streak and were just pounding the Sixers for 3/4 of basketball. But then the Sixers came back. Guess how many points in the last game? And the Sixers won that game, 133-130. Guess how many points the Sixers scored against the Bucks in the fourth quarter of play last time?
I think they scored a lot.
Give me a number. Like, what number of points do you think that the Sixers scored?
I would say probably around like 30, 40.
48 points. 48 points. I didn't watch that game. No, that wasn't last night. That was the previous game. So the Sixers came back, beat the Bucks, ended their 16-game winning streak. So obviously, second time around, you got more of the MVP hype. You got the Bucks, trying to get themselves primed for the playoffs. You got the I don't know if you call it bad blood, but they were a little ticked from losing the last time. And Giannis just came out on fire, scored 33. Embiid was all right at 28, got into foul trouble though. Maxey, I think, had the most points with 29. The thing that I found funny was late in the game, I think it was fourth quarter. Guess who Doc Rivers decided to put in as the center for the Sixers?
Yesterday we're talking about. Well, I'm gonna just name,
pick one of the smaller men on the court.
I would say Furkan was definitely small.
No, Furkan's not small. I mean, he's smallish. He's like power forward size. He's like 6'9", 6'10". Nah, well, okay. I'll give you another clue. Small and old.
Small and James Harden?
No. Well, okay, yeah. PJ Tucker. Love PJ Tucker. Amazing defense. But, I mean, Giannis just ate him up. But Rivers owned it, though, at the end in the press conference. He was saying, we got outplayed. We got outcoached. So even, he owned up to it, took the hit from the coaching perspective, too, because it's true. Got outcoached. But, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that obviously – the Bucks are red hot, but the Sixers can get back in it. So we'll see. Staying with basketball for another minute, we're going to get into your NFL.
Yeah, I have actually another topic too.
Okay. Staying with that, real quick. I was in and out of the game of the Iowa versus LSU women's final, NCAA final. Kim Mulkey, was that the LSU coach? She brought home, or she and her team brought home the first title for LSU ever in school history. Whooped Iowa 102-85. And it was some interesting facts because I started to dig through the coach and the players and some of the interesting facts and just extraordinary talent that was playing on that floor yesterday. Like Kim Mulkey, for example, she's the first coach, actually. She had won 3 NCAA titles with Baylor, 2006, 2012, 2019. Then she left to come to LSU last year. Had a little bit of a rough year, but got into the transfer portal and pulled some good players into the squad and just blew the doors off Iowa in the finals. What was her name? Caitlin Clark was the big scorer from Iowa, and had a little bit of controversy there because I guess there was just a lot of trash talking going on And that, do you know John Cena, the wrestler?
Yes, I know who he is.
Do you know his one of his signature kind of trash talking things with the hand in the face?
I definitely remember that one line he used to always say.
What's he say?
He would say like, "My name is John Cena," and then it would be like that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch him that much. Yeah, all I know is he does this thing where he waves his hand in front of his face and he's like, "You can't see me." Like basically, I'm so fast you can't see me coming. And I guess Caitlin Clark did that a couple times to a couple different players, got them all ticked off, and then Angel Reese did it to her, and it blew up on Twitter for like a whole bunch of like. Yeah, with the ring thing. Yeah, that was like part of it. Like, you can't see me, and then she pointed to the ring, and
yeah, I know like that line he used to say, but I know like I was thinking of the action that John Cena did, but also people were saying that's what Joe Burrow did after he won the LSU national championship back in 2020, I believe, and he did this thing after he won. So. That's what people are saying. People on social media were like, that's where she got from. They're trying to compare that from what Joe Burrow did and what that girl did because, one, they both came from the same college, which was LSU. And
people are so stupid on the internet. Like, that thing is not original. Like, everybody's been pointing to that ring since rings were a thing, which is like a long, long time. But it's just so funny how people think they have some original thought.
Yeah, maybe they thought because I think it was because of a thing like, Joe Burrow's so good nowadays. He's still relevant till this day. I mean, like college, he was still relevant, from LSU.
Right. There's the LSU connection.
You won't. This is definitely gonna be off topic, but do you want me to say the thing I was gonna say? Yeah. So like I definitely think that people are gonna obviously pay attention to a guy who is winning still, even though after it was literally over 3 years ago, and people are trying to say that's where that's kind of like an LSU thing nowadays. Like after you win a national championship, that's what you do to celebrate. You just do the ring thing, right? And so like it was just funny.
The girl that Angel Reese was trash talking, who Angel Reese, amazing player in her own right, most outstanding player for the tournament. But Caitlin Clark, this girl from Iowa, 21-year-old, she scored 191 points in the course of that tournament. That's more points than any man or woman has ever scored in that NCAA basketball tournament. So she was just on fire. So she talks some trash. They talk some trash. I guess they won it and then still kept talking trash. So that's where they were seen as poor sports. But truth be told, everybody was talking smack the whole time. So, but it was an interesting. It was an interesting game to watch. I was kind of awestruck a little bit, I'll be honest, by Kim Mulkey. I hope I'm saying her last name right. In her bedazzled blazer and matching pants. She looked like Liberace coaching LSU. But she has an amazing, obviously, coaching ability and pedigree. She won Olympics. She won the 1984 Olympics as part of that team as a point guard. Amazing player, amazing coach. So it was interesting to watch. Anyway, now we'll roll into your territory with a little bit of football. So give us the football news for this edition of Alex at Bat.
So I actually have two things I wanted to talk about. First thing I wanted to talk about was so the NFL came up with a new rule, I would say last week, saying that NFL players are allowed to wear number 0. And there's already some NFL players that are confirmed that they're wearing number 0 for this NFL season. And do you want me to say who they are?
In a minute. I just have a quick question. Is there any controversy surrounding this, or is this just news? Like, why, before you get into the who, could you perhaps comment on the why? Why did they do this? Why is this a thing? Have been people asking about this? Like, people want 0, or is it like they just needed something else to do?
So, as you know, during the offseason, when they want to change a rule or add a rule to the NFL, they usually do is take owner votes. The owners of each 32 NFL teams get to vote, and the majority always wins. And majority pick that they should be allowed to wear number 0. And, I really didn't see like any people say like negative, but they were just saying is that, if a player wears number 0 and he's terrible, they're going to probably get trolled badly. Like if they put up 0 stats, if they put up like no stats and they're wearing number 0, that's going to look back as something to laugh about. Definitely.
Do other players in other professional sports have the number 0? Is it like basketball?
Yeah, basketball, but it's never really ever happened in football. I know it happened back in like the 1970s. So I think some guy from the Raiders wore like a 00, but like it hasn't been a thing like and nowadays I don't think it's been a thing for years on decades. So it's definitely going to be new. It's definitely going to be a lot different just seeing a player wear number 0 because nobody's ever wore number 0, and now except now, which has already been confirmed from those NFL players who said they want to wear one. So Calvin Ridley from the Jacksonville Jaguars said he wants to wear number 0 and to catch passes from Trevor Lawrence in number 0. And then Micah Parsons from the Dallas Cowboys said he wants to wear number 0 too. So it's definitely going to feel weird for like to see NFL players wearing number 0, just like hearing the commentators and stuff saying number 0 made that play. Or like, when they make a big play and the commentators are screaming, it's going to be like, why not something like number 18, number 11, has to be number 0. So like, it's just going to seem different just hearing like people saying number 0 for like an NFL player.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I guess it'll be odd at first, but then they're just going to get used to it like every other thing. I mean, like the pitching clock in baseball, everybody thought that was going to be totally weird until it turned out that it wasn't. There might have been one violation, I think, over the course of all the opening day games and series. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's cool. I don't really know I guess I don't really care as long as there's no controversy surrounding it, because that would be like literally the dumbest controversy for there to be somebody out there that has a problem with the number 0. I mean, it's just a number. But, I think it's cool because now guys, maybe they wanted 0 all along and they said, well, 0 is not available, but now it is. So now's their chance for all you 0 lovers out there in the NFL. This year is your year. You're going to get your opportunity to be reunited with your favorite number. Congratulations and Godspeed.
Exactly, but the one thing I do recommend if you're wearing number 0, don't put up 0 stats. Like, don't put up bad stats, because that's gonna come back and haunt you, especially by like different people, and be like, man, this guy wears number 0 and he's putting up 0 stats. He doesn't do anything on the football field. So it's definitely gonna come back and haunt you if you're not doing well on the football field. So that's the only thing. By me, I guess it's going to just be different seeing some players wear number 0. And I want to get into another thing, but I want to wait till we're done this topic.
No, I was going to say the same thing you were going to say. Don't stink if you want 0. So what's this other topic that you wanted to discuss about the NFL?
I heard recently with the news about the Dallas Cowboys after Ezekiel Elliot got released. Stephon Gilmore, their new corner they traded for from the Colts, will be wearing number 21 for the Cowboys this year. And I didn't really hear any bad things, but I just heard people saying like why they should just allow why it's okay for them to just allow a guy for Ezekiel Elliott number to be taken right after he just got released. But I definitely think that there's no reason why he shouldn't take number 21. It's not like if it was a guy who was really meant a lot to their franchise and wore maybe number 5, for example, right? A guy who really meant a lot to their franchise, who's done a lot, and if they retired that number, that number won't be taken. So if it really meant a lot to them, they probably would have retired it if Ezekiel Elliott was really, that good for years on years. I know he's had some good years, especially in his early years as a running back, but he's not like the guy who you're going to be like, oh yeah, we should not give this number to a new player if he's not on our team anymore, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that was an issue, if they really did cherish, respect, and and put him on the top pedestal, the upper echelon of Cowboys running backs, that's exactly what they would do. They'd retire his number, but they didn't retire it. So it's available. And just like any other number from any other player in the course of the NFL history or team history, if your number's not retired, it's up for grabs. And so he got it. So I don't think, unless Ezekiel Elliot has some weird ego issues, even he's probably sitting at home thinking, yeah, that's kind of how it works. So I can't really be mad. I'm moving on. But, yeah, so good luck to Ezekiel Elliott. He's not landing in Philly, though, right? Like, that was just a rumor. Somebody who shall remain nameless in our family was saying that Ezekiel Elliott was supposedly coming to the Eagles. And after my near mini heart attack in the living room, I'm looking for confirmation now that he is, in fact, not coming to the Eagles. This is not true, right?
Yeah, he's still a free agent. But I don't think people understand. Like, he just wrote the Eagles as one of his wish lists. Of course, you're going to get some players, who are on, some players did tweet about Darius Slay and Lane Johnson, tweeted about Ezekiel Elliott being that as one of his trade lists. Darius Slay tweeted something like, you should come play with us. You'll be behind one of the best offensive lines in football. I think the Eagles do have one of the best offensive lines in football, but I definitely think that that still is not going to convince me to be like, oh, yeah, that means Ezekiel Elliott is all of a sudden going to be dominating the NFL like he did back in his early years. So I definitely feel like that if they bring him back, I think it's just a complete waste of money. I think they have a good running back room, and I think they're going to get more in the draft. I heard that people, Eagles fans want Bijan Robinson. He was a Texas running back who's in the draft, and I think he's supposed to get off the board real quick. So, I definitely would like someone. I'd rather have someone like, a 2023 NFL draftee running back than Ezekiel Elliott. He's kind of, getting to the end of his career anyways. I don't think he'll be in the NFL anyways for that long. And I think that we could use that money for any other player besides Ezekiel Elliott.
Sounds good to me, as long as he's not on the team, because he's washed up. And like you said, we have way better ways to spend our money than that. Some of that money, we got to get ready to spend a lot of money on the offensive weapons, the offensive side of the ball. So the next year or two, money would be well spent shoring up weaknesses in the defense, because you got a lot of guys. Oh, good. You got good news.
Yes, and I definitely think it's worth sharing to everybody. Looks like that Howie Roseman, the Eagles GM, is really trying to get Jalen Hurts into a contract, extension, like a big payday. So, I think that's a good move for the Eagles, because they already pretty much made it aware that they wanted to be the franchise quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. But, the thing is money. They need to save up money to make that happen. So, I definitely think that, I guess, how much money Jalen Hurts is asking for, I think that, he'll probably get close amount to that, certain amount of money. If he's asking for like over hundreds of $1 million, I don't think that's happening. But I think that a well-deserved, maybe a little under $100 million will definitely, be able to pay him. So I definitely think that they'll definitely try to get it done, since they've already pretty much said they want to keep him as quarterback. So I would not be surprised if they sign Jalen Hurts to extension anytime coming up soon.
Awesome. Good to hear.
Yeah.
What was that quote? You sent it to me. You texted it to me. I can't remember. I just remember liking it. But it was about Jalen Hurts that said it. Something about, I didn't walk through all that fire, something about it.
Yeah, I didn't walk through all that fire. I think it was just about, about him losing the Super Bowl. Like, I just didn't get there. Now I'm going to come back and try to win the thing now. Right. So I think he was just trying to say that I just come there to just play in the Super Bowl. I came in there to win. And I heard that Nick Sirianni said he's been in like the weight room every day he's working really hard. So that's really good news, especially you need that in a quarterback too, who's going to lead your team hopefully to a Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl too. And Jalen Hurts was really close to doing that last year. So I think the Eagles are in good hands with Jalen Hurts as their quarterback or even technically franchise quarterback. I think that they should have no harm of signing him to a big extension because I think he, deserves it pretty much. And I can't wait to see, Jalen Hurts be in the Eagles uniform for longer, hopefully.
I didn't walk through that fire just to smell the smoke. That's what he said. I like that. I like that, Jalen. That's inspirational. That makes me feel like you're serious about doing the dang thing and winning it.
Yeah.
Good for them. Good for Howie. Howie, I could pitch in like a couple bucks, like literally too, if that would help.
Definitely. So I think that just those quotes he's saying is making people think like this guy can win a Super Bowl and win a lot. And there's going to be a lot of contract extensions from the 2020 NFL draft, especially quarterbacks. You got a lot of, you got Joe Burrow. He's expected to get an extension. You got Jalen Hurts. You got Justin Herbert. I didn't really hear anything about Tua getting a contract extension, but I just heard that
Coach said he's their guy.
I just heard that they picked up his fifth-year option. So really the rumors are really the Justin Herbert contract extension, Joe Burrow, and Jalen Hurts so far. I mean, there's probably going to be plenty of quarterbacks who are looking for extensions as well. So, yeah, I think that we'll wrap it up right there. That's the end of our video. See you guys next episode. Goodbye.